Okay, here we are. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Research Ramblings live stream. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. Let's see here, who we got in here tonight? Luna, welcome. Octus, thank you for stopping by to say hi. And you stay safe as well. Bestest Wolf, welcome. Good to see you. Mangrove, welcome back. Good evening. Animal Man, good to see you. Giovanna, good to see you again. So, Rosemary, welcome. Matilda. Giovanna, happy Halloween. It's already the 31st here. Awesome. And Lip Body, welcome. Speaking of Halloween, can't dress up like a pirate without having some swag. Got something to show you all. Check it out. My copy of the limited edition mug came in today. Happy Skulls did the artwork. She won the contest, and hopefully she'll be getting her mug very, very soon if she hasn't got it already. These are limited to only, I want to say we set it to 50, and they are selling quick. So if you're interested in one, go over to our merch area at workingdragonmystic.com, or there should be a link below the videos, and grab yours. Because once they're sold out, that's it. No more of the 2020 Halloween mugs. All right, now that we got that go, let's get into this. And Lip Body, thank you for subbing. It's always nice to have new subscribers. Welcome to the Madhouse. Josh Key, welcome. Glad you're joining us. Always good to have new people pop in. All right, let's see. I had a question. Thought I saw a question up there. Okay, it disappeared. It was retracted. Never mind. Sorry about that, Rosemary. I was about to try and get to that. So let's see. Thank you, Mangrove. Honestly, yeah, the artist did a fantastic job. I didn't vote on which piece of artwork won. If I had, I don't know which one I'd have voted on. Everyone who entered the contest did incredibly well. And this is an absolutely gorgeous mug. So had to use it for tonight's stream since it came in. Let's see. All right. Lit says, I recently watched one of your videos and realized I have a bad foundation. Which one of your playlists would you recommend? Because I want to start over, and if I know nothing about this. Okay. Well, when we're talking foundational principles, which honestly I commend you for wanting to go back to those foundational principles. Anytime someone's having trouble, that's always where I tell them to look. So the foundational principles I'd first focus on and make sure you got them locked down solid is meditation. You want to make sure you got a good, solid meditation practice. And actually, I would also work on building up an astral sanctum, because this is going to help you develop your arcane senses. And those are going to help you tremendously. Also do a little work with trance, which again, building your astral sanctum is going to help you in that as well. And I would also focus on your grounding and your shielding, which you can find all these in the Magical Basics playlist. So the Magical Basics playlist really is great for building up on your foundational principles. And my thingy here is making noise. Let's stop that from making noise. There we go. That should stop it from making noise. All righty. Let's see. But no, that's where I would actually go to and work on, because what I refer to, and actually the dragons would call it, the arcane pillars, are built upon the foundation of meditation. And then each of those pillars would be divinations, evocation, and journey work. And your arcane sanctum is in the astral plane. And so when you build that, you're actually starting to do some journey work too. So that'll really help you strengthen and build up your foundation. See, Rosemary, my friends and I are going to a haunted barn tomorrow, but she had a vision that entities there were feeding on human souls and scaring indigenous entities. How can I identify what it is? That's a tricky one, honestly. Identifying an entity is very tricky. The feeding on the souls part, I'd say it's more possible energy than souls. We tend to interpret energy as souls. They're very different, and entities don't really consume souls. That's kind of a Hollywood religious misnomer. But feeding on energy and whatnot, that's very much possible. The best way to do it, honestly, is if you have your arcane senses really attuned and you can actually open them up and actually see what is there and attempt to identify it. But again, it's hard to identify anything unless you have a good knowledge base. Another option might be to, if you have any guides or entities you work with, get their help in identifying it. But if you are going, I would make sure you have a base on grounding and shielding, because a basic bubble shield will stop them from feeding on you. So at least make sure you got that. And if you don't have a good foundation in shielding, try and get a hold of a piece of obsidian or onyx. Both of them are good protective stones and should help you out. And Peachy, welcome. You made it. I was afraid you wouldn't make it. Oh, only for a little bit. That makes sense. Lit, you're very welcome. I'm happy I could help. And just call me Drake. No need to call me Mister. Just call me Drake. We're pretty informal around here. So this week has actually been fascinating. I have been swamped all week. I was going to film 2 videos. That took forever because Murphy's Law just kind of kicked in this week. Don't you love those weeks? They're always fun when that happens. But nonetheless, I still have managed to get quite a bit done. I did get 2 videos filmed and uploaded, one of which, of course, is the next lesson in the rune class, which I think the first actual lesson in the rune class will release November 3rd. So we are actually keeping up with the rune class videos every other week at this point. I was a little worried with the hurdles we hit this week, but we're going to do it. And for those who keep asking, we got that Zodiac Dragon video filmed. So you can look forward to that next month for sure. Also, I've been doing a lot of shadow work and ancestry work and all that, because 'tis the time to be working with ancestors and spirits. And so I've spent a lot of time working with Odin and Hel, and spent some time in Helheim, as well as hanging out in Valhalla, speaking with many of the residents there. So it has been a very, very busy week. Of course, I've had to work with a few students this week and help them with some of their homework and questions. But honestly, I have to say, one of them threw me. They asked me, I can't really share the question, but I can say they actually threw me for a complete loop. They asked a question that it seems so simple, it seems so obvious, but no one's ever asked me. And at the same time, it kind of curbs a tradition. So I was like, I'm going to have to go talk to the entities about this and see what I can figure out. But turned out her idea was absolutely fantastic, and she got the green light to test it. So, woohoo! You go, girl. Let's see. I lift my glass of rum to Pirate Drake. Thank you, PG. This random. I'm in my second spiritual awakening. Oh man, I feel you on that. Um, I always find it funny. People talk about spiritual awakenings as this nice little. You always see pictures of people meditating calmly on a beach at sunrise or sunset, and it looks so serene and calm and peaceful. And everybody's like, I want me a piece of that. I need some of that peaceful serenity. Give me that spiritual awakening. That ain't how it goes. That is not how it is, people. That peaceful stuff, that's on the other side of that spiritual awakening. Those spiritual awakenings, they're rough, man. They're trudging through the desert over rocky hills and coals, and you got people with ball bats whacking you the whole way. It's a rough process. And every time you get one, at least in my experience and many of the people I've spoken with, every one gets rougher because you got more skills and more abilities. So the next one through is a little harder than the previous one because you got more to learn now. So yeah, I feel you on that one, Random. I do. I'm actually really hitting some walls myself and getting some new insights. And I guess you could refer to it as an awakening because I have been working through the Cliffothic path working of Azonoth Masons. And I'm currently working through the second one where you deal directly with the rulers of each of the spheres. And man, they are kicking my rear. They really are. It's been a fascinating working, absolutely fascinating. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. I picked this up on the fly when I went to a Renaissance fair one time. I had pretty much everything else, but didn't have a hat other than, well, the hat you always see me in. So I wanted a better hat, so I grabbed this one quick. It's the only one I could. Now, what I'm looking for, what I'm wanting to get me, is I'm wanting to get me one of those musketeer hats, the cavalier hats with the wide brim that's up on one side. That's what I'm looking for. I just got to find me one I like. Keeping my eyes out. Let's see what we got here. Raider win. I'm interested in working with dragons, but I get a lot of intrusive thoughts, and I'm scared that in the presence of one, I have a negative thought relating to them. I don't want to be disrespectful. You know what? I understand this one, Raider, and it can be hard. It's really where your heart lies. When you say having a negative thought referring to them, it's understandable that when you approach a new entity, you don't know if you can trust it. And they understand this because when we first approach them, they don't deal with us as humans. They don't deal with us as a people. They deal with us as an individual. So they want to know, can I trust this human? Can I trust that one in front of me? And honestly, just because they show up doesn't mean they trust you. They're going to go by your actions. They're going to go by what you tell them. Do you follow through with what you tell them? Those kinds of things. So they're going to be just as suspicious of you as you are of them. Because you got to understand, these entities, when they look at you, they see every possible path, route, thought, and ideal you could have. So they see just how dark and evil you could be, and they see how good you could be. And they understand these different pathways. The question is, what do you choose to do? Which path do you choose to walk? And because of that, when you're working with them, yes, those negative thoughts will pop up, but it's the actions you actually choose that matter. And that's what they'll be paying attention to. Thank you, Rosemary. I'm glad. Hopefully, I'll get the hat. If I find me a hat, I'll have to wear it on stream sometime for y'all. Because, well, me and hats. Got to have a hat. Let's see. See, could you communicate with the dead in a seance like in the movies? I know how to do it normally, but I love the aesthetic. This is a tricky one. This is really a tricky one. Because by and large, technically, the answer is yes. But there's a caveat to this. Seances, by and large, are actually for show. They're literally for showmanship. You're not going to get the tables rattling, books flying, ectoplasm forming. And I'll be honest, in all my years of research, I've never found a genuine case of ectoplasm. Every case of supposed ectoplasm has been debunked. Now, that said, if you did have a group of 5 or 6 practitioners that were trained in working with spirits and summoning spirits to communicate with them, then you could actually do a group ritual to do a contact like that. Your other option is to do some kind of work with a medium or someone who can channel. But then again, this has to be someone you actually trust because, and I know there's a lot of mediums going to hate me for this, but I'm sorry. Most of the mediums who I've met, barring 2, literally barring 2, um, they hustle people at every seance. Every seance I've been to, they just hustle them, which breaks my heart because it's disrespectful to the art and the practice, and it's very, very disrespectful to the people who are trying to find closure or contact a loved one, and that's just not cool on any level at all. But it is possible. It's just not as easy as they make it look. All right. Oh, random. So basically, every night I have a dream of an Asian dragon with an octopus-looking tails, and it's every night. The last time he was angry on me, I'm confused to what these dreams mean. Honestly, that's a tricky one because dreams can really be dreams. They can be you trying to process something, or they can be something trying to reach out to you. It gets really, really tricky. Um, that particular dragon actually makes me think of a style of water dragon I've encountered, which does deal with a lot of chaotic and turbulent emotions, even some past traumas that they're trying to want you to get a grasp onto and deal with. So that would be a potential possibility there. So in that case, I would actually recommend reaching out to Cora Allegra, the ruler of the Dragons of Water. Let's see. If it's coming from a body of water near your house, you can even actually go do your rituals there. That might actually help you get a connection with it too. Okay, we got 20 people in here and only 14 likes, people. Give us a thumbs up, like the stream and the video. It helps the channel out a lot. Let YouTube know you like the work we're doing so they put it in front of other people. More people can find us, join us in the streams, and check out the videos so we can share the information and get out all this knowledge to all the seekers looking for it. See, 2D Josh studied in dragon magic, and my one friend claims he heard a voice tell him when he was trying to get in contact with them. And the voice said, "You are a risk and an unknown and silence till today." Well, technically speaking, every human being would be viewed as a risk and an unknown factor. That's one of the, I guess you could say, unique features of humans. We are very much an unknown force. And the way we make our choices so counter to what would make sense, that does make every human an actual unknown factor. So that does make us both a benefit and a risk, depending again on choices, like we were mentioning to Random earlier here in the stream. A lot of it will come down to those choices. So when you get a message like this, you're really supposed to be paying attention to your choices your goals and the actions you're taking to reach those goals. You want to be very mindful of what you're doing, which actually I would suggest everyone be mindful of their path personally. But if you're not being mindful of your path, you are at risk of stumbling and causing a lot more harm to yourself and others than you might be aware. Anubis, welcome. Glad you can make it, man. Appreciate it. Oh, Tara, welcome back. Good to see you again. Thank you. Glad you like that. Had to do something because we're at 4,100 and something subs, which thank you all for that. That is freaking amazing. So I'm going to guess I'm not going to have to let my wife dress me up. That's my guess anyway, because the 5K challenge will end on November 1st morning. Though I will say this, in November, I'm going to get onto here and on the stream, and we're talking about what we're going to be doing. But I am actually wanting to do a kind of a consolation thank you for all you all have done. And I'm looking at what I can do to say thank you to everybody in some way, somehow. So I don't know what it is yet, but I am wanting to do something to thank everyone because it is amazing. You guys really, I didn't think we'd hit 4K, much less the 5K challenge, but Linda extended the challenge. And I really want to do something to give back to y'all because I appreciate everything you've done to get those 4K up. And I'm also going to be thinking of just what we want to do when we do hit the 5K, because that's a big milestone, and I still want to do something for it. It's not going to be me dressing up. So, Luna, when you're in here, I know you're in here hiding, sneaking around. Yeah, that ain't happening. All right. Let's see. Let's see, Rita. Thank you. That helps a lot. I definitely will follow what I think is right and my intentions, and definitely in the right place, so they'll see that. Thank you. No problem, my man. Happy to help. I am. And honestly, you know what? It shows a lot that you actually take the time to be considerate of your thoughts. Most people actually don't. They're like, they're just thoughts. What's it matter? So it actually shows that you do have respect for these entities because you are concerned about those thoughts. So that's a great start, man. Okay, it's jumping. Okay, we're busy in here tonight. So if you got a really important question and I miss it, do remember we have the super chat. You can drop $1, $2 donation, and it'll flag it up on the screen real big, so my dumb hind end don't miss it. Too busy. The whack the white button. I appreciate it, man. Thank you much. Anubis, what's your opinion on buying vessels for magical or protection uses? Spirits that have chosen to inhabit an item and have been bought. Okay. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this because these type of vessels can be very, very helpful. They really can. The problem is it's very hard to find a genuine, reliable source of them. So far, I've met one person who's actually bought something and had spirits in it. Everyone else who's bought one from Etsy, the internet, wherever they get them, they were just an item. They were crafted. They had energy in them, true, but they didn't have an entity. So I'm always very skeptical of the source it comes from, but they can be a useful item if you can find a reliable source. Let's see here. Filda Luna, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. Next time. Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Let's see. Raider also asks, when contacting entities, do you have any tips for deciphering what is actually the entity coming through and what is just ego? This is something I've struggled a lot with. This is a hard one. This really is. And again, this is also partially why meditation is so important. If you're strong with your meditation practice and your trance practice, um, and this is one of the reasons I love focused meditation so much, because if you're focused on a specific thing, all the random thoughts that come flying through during meditation, you're not going to blank your mind. That's actually kind of a false concept. But it's more about keeping it as blank as you can for as long as you can. But in focused meditation, you're staying focused on one thing and you're pushing all other thoughts aside. But you're doing it by when a thought comes, you look at it, you evaluate it, and you make a determination, separating yourself from ego and is this actually helpful? Is it not? And then you push it to the side. This same process actually transitions over very well into working with entities, whether it be through journey work or evocation work, because this teaches you your mind. It teaches you your thought patterns, and your thought patterns and the entity's thought patterns will be different. So this teaches you to recognize your thought patterns from theirs, and that's something that comes with experience, and that's really hands down the best way to do it. Let's see, Austin Embry, do you ever think it's more views than it seems? LOL. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if you mean in the channel, oh yeah. Well, actually, I don't know how to explain this. I'm still completely floored and baffled by how well the channel's doing. So yeah, it floors me when I just see the analytics in general. You guys amaze me. Yes, it is. This is the limited edition mug. Thank you for asking. I showed it off earlier at the start of stream. This is one. They look absolutely incredible. Decided it came in, so I wanted to make sure to use it tonight, which was perfect timing because this is basically the Halloween stream, right? Which is freaking awesome. Which actually, in a few minutes, we might actually do a small ancestral hailing ritual together, something simple, easy. I get a lot of people trying to ask, how simple can it be, how complicated they can be. And a few of you asked to do a little bit of something here on stream this week, and I was thinking that might be a good idea. So I was thinking this would be a good time to actually show how simple a hailing ritual could be, while at the same time actually doing something functional. Random, going to bed, so good night, everybody. Good night, Random. Have a good evening, my man. Sleep well. Good night, PG. Anubis, have you gained the trust of any entity's true names? Not saying you can say it, honestly. It's a huge thing to be able to know, and likely they can't say it with human tongue. There's a couple. That would be the easiest way to answer that. I have. It's a big deal. It's just sarcasm to Aldrich. That's okay, Austin. It's all good. Let's see. Austin, thank you. That's helped me a lot. I don't have any practitioners in my personal life. Finding somewhere to ask these questions is rough. Well, you got a group of friends here that can help you now. And if you want, jump into the Discord. We do have a Discord server. There should be a link in the About section of the channel. We got a pretty good crew over there. Nice little community built up. But you're always welcome here in the live streams, and I'll answer them as best I can over here. Animal Man asks, have you ever heard the dragons speak in their own language? Unfortunately, I have. I have. Their language generates a energetic power that honestly, the one sentence that was uttered pretty much blasted me across the plains is an easy way to put it. Their language is insanely powerful in and of its own right. So I have heard it. Um, Not really in a hurry to hear it again, but I have heard it. Let's see. Austin, Drake, can you tell about magical rulers other than the nine rulers, nine round dragon rulers? And what is a ruler in a magical understanding fully? Honestly, I'm not sure I understand the question. So you're wanting me to talk about magical rulers that aren't the nine draconic rulers. I understand that part. Um, but I'm trying to grasp the question in its entirety here, real quick. Because when we're talking about the nine draconic rulers, it's not necessarily magical rulers or rulers over all this. It's within the dragons themselves. The rulers are respected outside the dragons, but you will have entities that rule over water and whatnot that aren't dragons. So I'm just trying to make sure I understand your question here, Austin. Witchy Kid. I want to light a candle for my ancestors and try and make an offering tomorrow, but I'm a bit worried about communicating with them. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. One of them just recently passed. You know what, Witchy? I think we can help you a little bit here. Actually, this is a good time to do it. Anti-Pendulum, thank you very much for the donation, man. Appreciate it. Let me read your question real quick, and then Kit, we will actually do that little quick ancestor ritual thing I was discussing earlier. This is something you can easily do with your thing, and I'll make sure that to explain how you can apply this tomorrow as well. Newcomer working with dragons and making an energetic offering. Can I use the same crystal over and over again? Or do I have no? Use the same crystal over and over. Just view the crystal like a cup. You got the cup, you pour the offering in it, they drink the offering, you reuse the cup. Definitely reuse the cup. Save yourself some money. All right, Witchy Kit, let's get into this. Okay. So, and I'm going to demo this. We're actually going to do this together. We're going to do this a little ancestor ritual together here tonight. So everybody pay attention. But here's what we're going to do. Now, anytime you want to work with your ancestors, you can easily make any offering, like Witchy Kit here said she's going to be lighting a candle. That's a beautiful way to do it. It really is. If you want to, you can do what's referred to as a dumb supper. You can actually fix a plate of food and set that in a place for them. Now, you can either set the candle and the food on your altar or on your kitchen table, or you can even create a special table or altar for your ancestors specifically. You can keep it real simple or get as complex as you want. Now, a lot of people's like, well, I don't know all my ancestors' names. You don't need them. If you have specific names that you want to call out and that you want to name, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. And if you want to give specific offerings to them, you can do that. One of the things I plan to do tomorrow is for my dad. I actually got an old coffee cup from his house that he let me borrow years ago, and for some reason I still have it. But I'm actually going to be putting a cup of coffee in that for him. Another one of my mentor. You all heard me speak a lot about my mentor before Magick, who was like a father to me. I'm actually going to be setting a knife on the altar for him in remembrance of him. It's actually a knife he left to me. So you can do anything you want. You can even do a picture. That's perfectly fine. So, but that's if you're doing individuals. You don't even have to do the individuals. You can just thank the individual names if you want. But the easy ritual I use, which is if you've watched my channel, you've probably already seen it. It's the hailing ritual. And this is a really good multitasker ritual. And this is actually how I will be doing my workings tomorrow. Um, and it's a very simple calling out to them. And the way I'm going to try and phrase this, and I'm on camera, so if I stumble and mumble, I apologize. Y'all know it on our cameras. So y'all's being, give me some break here because I get nervous doing rituals on camera, but you all have been great and y'all definitely deserve it. So I'm going to do the darndest I can to get through this. And if you stumble and fumble, that's fine. So, okay. Now I'm going to try and go slow so you all can repeat after me so you can be a part of this and we can, as a group, send out a nice little offering of thanks and prayer to our ancestors. Okay? Oh boy. Hail to the ancestors. Hail to the spirits. Thank you for watching over us. Thank you for guiding us. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for all you've done to prepare the world for us. And we ask that you would guide us, watch over us, and grant us wisdom so that as we move forward in the coming year, we can make the best choices, live the best lives to benefit ourselves, our family, our friends, and our community, so that we can leave this world a better place for the next generation. Hail to the ancestors. Hail to the ancestors. Hail to the ancestors. Hail to the spirits. Hail to the spirits. Hail to the spirits. Hail, hail, hail. Whew. All right. Well, definitely got some responses there. I hope you all got a response as well. But it really is that simple. And I'll be doing something just like that tomorrow night. I will just be lighting the candles accordingly. But if I didn't have candles, like let's say I was traveling in a hotel room, I could do that tomorrow night and it'd be just fine. So I hope you all enjoyed that impromptu little ancestor ritual because it is that simple. Now, the one thing I would do different is I'd spend a little time meditating, spend a little time listening for that guidance. So when you do it tomorrow, make sure you take a little time to sit with them, to listen, because they will be there. You will hear them, you will feel their presence, and they may whisper words of guidance to you. Which right now I can actually feel them already in this room. So if they start screwing with my camera, please don't do that, guys. But if they do, forewarned. But do add that time to spend with them. And I hope that helps you out, Witchy Kit. Let's see, catch up on the questions here. Thank you. Have you ever heard of a basher? That's not one. If I've heard of it, I'm not remembering it, Giovanna. I'd have to look that one up. Austin asks, how many dragons are there in total? Countless. You will not be able to count them. There really are. I mean, yeah. I have no way of totaling that number. Let's see. 2D, do you eat meat? I heard meat blocks chances of an outer body experience. Is it true? And if so, does it count with Magic too? Meat has actually, 2D, I do eat meat. In fact, I eat mainly meat. I actually eat on a carnivore diet, um, which the camera hasn't been doing me much good, but I have been losing quite a bit of weight. And anytime I do eat primarily meat, I actually find it actually helps my magic perform better. Um, so I do not. The only time I've ever seen this meat blocks chances of outer body stuff come up is in either religious or some activists who are pagan that push vegetarianism on other people. Um, as far as actual practitioners who've researched it, everyone has agreed it has no effect at all to blocking um, either out of body experiences or magic. Um, the big thing you got to look at is what your body runs best on. Now, the science is pretty clear. Most humans will actually run better on a heavy meat diet because that's actually how we've evolved. But again, just because it's most isn't everybody. I do have one friend. She operates very, very well on a healthy mixed diet. But you do have to figure those out because if, like carbohydrates, for example, if I eat carbs, my energy levels tank, absolutely tank. And um, yeah, so I have to stay away from carbs. But I can easily go to a doctor, and I do have a insulin resistance, which is pretty common in my family. So you do see the science that actually corresponds with that as well. Let's see here. Bernaldus, welcome. Glad you made it. Trey. Oh, this is Trey. Did some spell casting with Born today, and I'm experiencing a major headache. What am I supposed to do to help with the pain? Honestly, here's what I do. I do some grounding. We do have a video on grounding here on the channel because it could be excess energy. I would eat a pinch of salt. Believe it or not, a pinch of salt can help ground out excess energy, and it can actually help because a lot of headaches are due to low salt. And if that doesn't help, take some ibuprofen. When you do a lot of energy work, especially heavy energy work, you can get what's called a psychic hangover, which is pretty much what you're experiencing. Witchy kit, I like how simple it is. Thanks. No problem, Witchy. And in fact, we have a video on how to do a hailing ritual. So, if you want to, you can go watch that and actually kind of sketch out your own ritual for tomorrow night. But do so after the stream. Stick around for the stream. Do so after the stream. Let's see, one person noticeably colder and windy. Yes, yes. You'll notice that when entities show up, the temperature will fluctuate up or down, and you can feel some breezes that probably shouldn't be there. So very cool. Anubis, yeah, the hailing ritual is on the channel. And it's hailing as HAILING. So just search that in the video list. You should find it. Terror. Oh, I have a question. How are baby dragons born? How does it work in the other worlds? When a new soul comes into existence, or how are they created and made? Well, when we're talking soul creation, that's a massive topic. But baby dragons are actually hatched. And it does take two dragons to do so. That said, they are only hatched within a very specific, locked down, secure realm. Only dragons have access to it, and it is referred to as the hatchery. They are uber, uber protective of the young. See, Giovanna, I'm on a low carb diet and eat more meat now than ever. My clairsenses have improved. I believe that the intermittent fasting that I also do is the reason for the improvement and practice too. Giovanni, you know what? I don't do a lot of talk about my dietary habits. And I've been testing a lot of stuff, but um, due to all the testing and switching, I'm not losing the weight as much as I'd want. I'm staying healthy, but and you nailed it right there because intermittent fasting, I've noticed anytime I do that, energy spikes massively and greater clarity of thought, focus, and arcane senses. And yeah, low carb diets, everyone I've talked to seems to be reporting that same experience, which is fascinating to me. I really think this is something more magicians and practitioners need to do some more testing on. I'm not going to advocate it. I'm not a doctor, but do your research on it and see if it does help you out. Because Giovanna, I'm in the exact same boat as you. In fact, I was actually talking to the wife today over a video call and told her I'm just going to dive 100% full carnivore and try and stick to it. I mean, uber strict. And I want to see what the effects are all around. I've tested it short terms and I've looked at all the science. I know it's healthy. I know it's not going to hurt me. So it's one of those things where I'm wanting to know what its effects are long term energetically on me as a practitioner. But that is something I plan to do a lot of heavy research on. And since you guys do seem to be interested, I may actually do some videos on it, or if nothing else, here on Research and Ramblings, I will share my results with you as they come in. So now my wife did ask what we're doing because we already made Thanksgiving plans. I told her I'll eat Thanksgiving. So that's going to be a bad blip in the data, unfortunately, but at least it's planned for. But thank you for sharing, Giovanna. I love getting the data of other people who have the similar experiences. I think that's great. So thank you for sharing. Austin, what species of animal do you think is the most magical? I really don't think one wins out over the other. Um, Other than dragon magic, many of you know Norse practice is a big one for me, and I've been blessed to work a lot with Native Americans. And over all that, every animal is honestly just as magical, has their own unique lessons, their own unique things that they can teach you. And I really can't elevate one above the other because they're each so very unique and so very powerful in what they can teach. Yes, when grounding, Trey, you want to focus the energy down into the earth. You want to move that excess energy into the earth. And then you want to focus your energy on being more balanced and spread out more through your body. Wichita, the hatchery. Yeah, the hatchery. It's a thing. Uh, they don't let humans in there. They really do not, and I don't blame them. Austin, is it possible for a being to summon dragons? If you mean like in evocation, it is possible to do it. Though you're not going to force evoke them, if that's what you're saying, that's not going to happen at all. But you will not evoke them in their full size and shape and form because when you do evoke a dragon, that energetic aura that surrounds them comes with them. So this is why dragons, when you summon them in evocation, they take on that human form that we talk about when we do the videos and talk about specific dragons. That human form allows them to be evoked in a manner that isn't going to wreak havoc on our world. But you also have to have worked with them. You have to know a lot about them. You would have to have them have given you a sigil. This is the stuff we do cover in the Dragon Magic 101 course. Let's see. Terror. Do dragon parents still watch over their younglings once they are old enough / ready to enter guardian training? Um, they do keep in touch with their families. Though once they go off to school to start learning to be a guardian, they do spend less time with their parents and become a bit more independent, though they will still visit the parents, and the parents actually do visit the school, which the school is actually in the Draconic Realm, which I'm actually wanting to do a video on the Draconic Realm itself. Um, and then before graduation, the guardian dragon actually has to complete I can't remember exactly if it's 2 or 3 stints as a draconic guardian before they graduate, and then it's only on graduation that they move into a specific element. Let's see, 2D. Can I become a dragon, or is the dragons a completely different? Yeah, no, it's completely different souls. Everything. You can shape change into a dragon in the astral, but you cannot ascend or alter your soul in a way that you would become a dragon in what the dragons would refer to as a true dragon. That's not something we're capable of. Um, and Halloween has joined us. Love the costume. Thank you. Glad you like it. Conked out after doctors. You know what? I don't blame you. Austin, thank you for the info. No problem. I'm loving the questions. Y'all are great. Ever see any physical human be able to use telekinesis, levitation, or any other of these paranormal abilities that are portrayed in some medias? No, I have not. Honestly, I've traveled to 48 states. I've done investigations in a lot of places. I've followed up a lot of claims. And levitation, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, all these little things are claims you hear about. And everyone that I've followed up on, not one has been able to back up their claim. I had a few try, but it didn't take much to find out it was a hustle. Every one of them was a gimmick they were using, basically stage magician trickery to accomplish it. It wasn't the real deal, which is unfortunate. So at this time and place, I can't say I have. To the best of my knowledge, and ironically, I have looked into this. The government does not have a magical department that deals in any of that. No. But they really don't need it because, again, you do have dragons and other entities that their main focus is on the balance of the multiverse as a whole. And because of that, they're going to be the ones that look at it. And I have spoken with the dragons about this because of, well, human nature, let's be honest. And the general synopsis is that if human beings were to use baneful magic and nuke ourselves, the multiverse wouldn't notice. Let's see, Anubis, is there such a thing such as a, since you just said different kind of soul entirely, is there a different level of human soul that some are able to achieve? Technically, yeah, this would be what most people would refer to as an ascended master or the like. You even hear people these days use the term of achieving godhood. So, yeah, it is possible for the human soul to ascend to the point where it becomes something more than human, but it doesn't become something that it's not at the same time. So that is the point where you would ascend outside the physical realm and continue your growth on the other side. Terragor, would a dragon be able to reincarnate into the physical world as a starseed child if they choose to? Not and maintain their dragon soul. They could not. That is something I have asked. They would actually have to alter their soul to a point where they would lose what they are. So dragons really don't tend to do that. If anything, they would view that as a punishment. So let's see, Giovanna, that explains why I can't figure out my guardian's element. Yep, that would be why, Giovanna. They actually don't have an element. Some people will assume elements due to color or personality, but guardian dragons do not have an element. They're too young. They're still learning, and because of that, they don't have a focus yet. And another thing is, once a dragon does choose an element, it can work in that element for 1,000 years or so, and then change elements. No problem, Austin. Have a good evening, man. See, have you ever been to Nubis? I honestly tend to focus more on research and stuff than that. I've been through planes where I've seen such, but I personally don't participate. Angels Hyper ask, why is the soul important when it comes to magic? In the religious sense, it's not. But we are a fragment of the whole that is our soul. Every lifetime is a portion of the soul. It's not the entire soul that's in this meat suit. But the knowledge and the wisdom and the experiences we have affect the entirety of the soul. So, in magic, in and of itself, just to manifest something here on the physical, you could even argue the soul's not important. But if in magic your goal is to ascend past the physical and to learn more and break outside the physical incarnation cycle, then everything you learn as a magician improves your knowledge and everything. And because of that, it improves the soul. And that's what's going to help you kick out of that cycle. But focusing specifically on the soul itself isn't that big of a deal. It's really focusing on the here, the now, and learning everything you can. And if you're trying to break that cycle, if you focus on those three arcane pillars, and most people would even say soul travel specifically, would be your better bet to doing that. But a lot of people do get caught up on talking about, I'm a star seed, this, my soul is this. And because of it, they do tend to lose focus on the here and the now, which is one of the major things a magician should do. See, hey, do you know Quetzalcoatl, Aztec, Mesoamerican is a dragon from? Yes, I have worked with Quetzalcoatl a time or two. Fascinating little, not even little, that's probably the bad way to put it, but actually a wonderful dragon to work with. And And Quetzalcoatl actually is a quad elemental dragon. So you'll actually find all four of the first four elements within Quetzalcoatl. But I have not worked with Quetzalcoatl in, it's been a few years, a long time. I might actually have to reach back out and get in touch with them. Let's see, Rosemary. Yeah, I found my co-magician. She has the energy of what I believed would be Maelstrom or Spirit. Haven't worked with her a lot yet, though. Awesome, congrats. Yeah, co-magicians, they did at one time work in the elements. They leave their elemental position to become a co-magician. So they don't have as drastic effect as a dragon of that element. But they do have the experience in all the elements to become a co-magician. But the last element they were working in tends to be the one that they appear to be, and even act accordingly. So they are often viewed as having an element, even though honestly they can flip flop between the elements at will at that point in their life, which is pretty cool. 2D. Thanks and good night. Good night, 2D. Let's see. Animal Man, do you know any magical properties of Carmelian? Not without looking it up. I don't do a lot with crystals and stones. I've done plenty of research with it, and I've got it in journals when I need it, but it's not something I have committed to memory well enough. Luna, if she's in here, she might know something more than I do. But yeah, stones aren't something I use a lot of. Unless it's a stone I use a lot, I don't tend to remember them. I apologize, Animal Man. I think my neighbor just fell down the stairs. Hope they okay. Okay, I'm just going to ignore that. All right, let's see here. Carlos, thank you. I'm Mexican and connecting more with my ancestors. Carlos, my man, that is awesome to hear. Mugs up to you. Great way to do it, too. Great way. Always good to get in touch with those ancestors. It really is. I just massively heard or learned so much about my past that I wasn't even aware of. So yeah, awesome. Thump thump. Mangrove, did that actually come through? I didn't think that came through the mic. Oh my god. Did y'all hear that? Or are you just putting the thump thump because I said they maybe it was an ancestor falling down the stairs. Oh, that'd be bad. That'd be my luck, wouldn't it? Oh, there's Luna. Right on cue. Oh, Carmelian's an herb. Duh. Oh, chamomile. I read it as chamomile. Oh, I need more coffee. Chamomile. My bad. And no, I don't work with herbs much either. I do know chamomile is great for putting people to sleep. That's about it. Sorry about that, Animal Man. I probably confused the living tar out of you on your question, didn't I? Yeah, you did say chamomile. I'm an idiot. My apology. See, this is why I tell you, even the people who's been doing this for a long time, we make mistakes. We screw things up. We blow ourselves up. That's what we do. That's the fun of magic. You get out there, you try something, you adventure, You make mistakes, you have success. Yeah, it's all good. All right, everyone, let's get we're here at sitting at well over an hour actually. If you have any final questions, go ahead and get them in. I'll try and catch all the questions. We do have a video coming out on Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure it's actually the next lesson in the YouTube rune class. Going to be a full rune class. We are working at doing a lesson every 2 weeks and getting it uploaded. And this is obviously an experiment to see if we can get a full class into a playlist. So fingers crossed that it continues to work. So check that out. Also, we will be doing a stream Sunday. Now that said, they are predicting some storms and stuff coming through this weekend. So just a heads up. If the storms knock out the power of the internet, that might affect it, but I'm foreseeing all things to be just fine and dandy. We've been pretty lucky around here. In the area I live, it seems to not get hit too bad. So, that. Also, real quick, if you do want the Halloween limited edition cups, they are selling fast. I think we've already sold like 20 of them, and we've only got 50 available. So make sure you pop over there and check it out if you're interested in them. Of course, we do have other merchandise, the other working Dragon Mystic cups, the Dragon's Eye Seal cup, the tapestries, and also in the artwork. And as always, I do appreciate everything y'all do to support the channel, help us out, and your continued questions and spending Friday nights here with y'all. It's a great way to start my weekends. I really do look forward to these. All right, now let's see what we got in those little final questions that we got. Try it, Tara. Honestly, most of the time anymore, if I have a headache, I just grab a pinch of salt, and it pretty much straightens me out. I even got my wife doing it. She's found it amazing. She's like, I can't believe this works. Makes me wonder how many times I've taken ibuprofen and all I needed was salt. Mangrove, considering the age of dragons like Tiamat, do dragons die of old age? They can die of old age, but what they consider old age and what we consider old age is drastically different. Actually, the 9 rulers, at least the 5 higher rulers I know for sure, are all older than Tiamat. So Tiamat's actually looked at somewhat young compared to some of the older dragons. And the rulers are still viewed as in their prime. But yes, dragons do have an old age. So it is possible. But what they view as an age, honestly, the entire life of this planet isn't even a blip on their age radar. Kind of crazy. This is one reason why when you work with dragons, you start losing a concept of time, and you're going to need to keep a calendar. I've mentioned it before in Magical Coffee Hour. I keep like 4 or 5 calendars. I set alarms on my phones because I've worked with draconic energy so much that the concept of time gets really blurred. Because you do work with entities that, from a human perspective, they have no concept of time. So keeping that calendar is really, really helpful. Let's see. Co-magician is a storm dragon. His consort taught me to absorb the energy. Honestly, your co-magician and the dragons that hang out with them really are some of the best teachers. In dragon magic, your co-magician really becomes that foundational teacher that's with you the whole time. They're the one that learns to understand you and understand how to teach you better than any of them. So this actually makes sense, Giovanna. It really does. Most of the time, even when you're working with other dragons to learn from other dragons, like specialty dragons, you come back and you're reviewing your notes. Your co-magician's really helping you understand what the hell that other dragon said. So they're really going to decipher things for you, which is pretty cool. Have a good evening, Rosemary. Always happy to help. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support of the channel. Let's see, Raider, should I try to make a stronger connection with my ancestors before trying to contact a dragon? I've tried to connect with them a little bit, but I've heard I should get to know them before I move on. Dragons and dragon magic does not require working with your ancestors. It doesn't. For me, my ancestor work came through the Nordic practice. It was actually part of the initial path working that I did to learn more about Nordic magic. But working with spirits and ancestors due to some of the entities I work with, like Odin, Freya, Hel, Hades, I even worked with early in my magical career. Because of this, yes, I did do a lot of that where I'd worked with them, but it's not a specific thing in dragon magic. So if you're not interested in working with your ancestors, you can go ahead and get started in dragon magic and you'll be just fine. Some of the beginner videos we have on here, like the Dragon's Flame Ritual, great way to start, as well as working on your meditation practice, setting up an astral sanctum, and then working on meeting your guardian dragon. Your guardian dragon really is that very first key factor when working with dragons. And then once you've built up a solid working relationship and friendship with that guardian, then reaching out to your co-magician, which all this is laid out in very, very good detail and actually in a full path working in the Dragon Magic 101 course. But there is enough to get you started here on the channel. Animalman, what are your thoughts on sun gazing? I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of sun gazing. I've known way too many people who's damaged their eyes doing it. And that, for me, really does take it off the list of good ideals. So that said, though, it can work. It can be effective if you do it safely. And one person I know of, the way they really bypass the danger, they would do their sun gazing with basically a welding mask on, which makes sense. But as far as naked eye sun gazing, I don't recommend it. It's going to damage the eyes. And your eyes are a little too important this day and age to just willy-nilly risk them. Selena Nagazi. Hello, Selena. Welcome. Sorry you're joining. We're getting ready to close up. Hopefully you'll catch the replay, though. But it is nice to see you make it. Love to have you. So many new faces in here. Just makes me happy. You guys are a great community, hands down. I got to say, I think I have one of the best communities I've encountered. Chip on a good, I hate time and space. Well, you're in the right practice. You really are. Let's see, Raider. Thank you very much. This live relieved a lot of my anxiety about practice. Have a good night. No problem, Raider. Happy to help. That's why we're here. The live streams help me reach out and connect with you all and answer these questions. I mean, I do as much with the videos as I can for teaching and getting topics out that are replayable. But sometimes that human element really is everything, and we really need that. So let's see here. All right, let's get ready to wind up. Trey, you are the shit, Drake. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep learning. Trey, my man, I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. I really do, and I'm really glad you all are learning a lot from this channel. And you know what? As long as you're willing to learn and willing to listen to me ramble on, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, I promise. All right, everybody. Join me Sunday so we can end out this weekend right on a high note for the magical coffee hour. We'll drink some coffee. We'll tell some jokes. We'll have us a good time. Until then, everyone, you have a wonderful weekend. This is, of course, as we knew, Halloween weekend. All Hallows Eve is here. I'm sure we've all got some wonderful rituals planned. Do stay safe this weekend if you are going out to costume parties, any of those, or any shenanigan that you might do. Do so in a safe manner. Stay safe because I want to make sure to see you all in the next live streams. But have a wonderful weekend with your friends, family, and doing whatever it is you do. And until next time, everybody, take it easy, and I'll see you.